guys, I'm Michael.
And I'm Cherise. We post videos weekly all about personal branding and finance.
And we're helping young professionals to improve every single day.
That's the Kinley way.
So if you want to get from here to here, make sure you like, comment and subscribe, and we're going to help you get there.
And if you already knew all of that, welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. And we are kind of continuing this series for y'all that are going to university. We're talking to you guys about the things you need to think about to get in a first-class degree. So this is mainly for those of you that are transitioning from college to university, from first year to second year to third year, and if in exceptional circumstances you're spending a couple of extra years in uni, that's fine as well. Okay, so when you're going to university, you're going to university to study, but a lot of people think, oh, studying is just reading and going to the library and spending all night in the library and spending so much money on books and so on and so forth. No. No. The first thing I want you guys to think about studying is to study what you need. Okay, so you're going to get loads of books at university. Some of them are good, some of them are relevant. Identify the ones that are. Some of them are necessarily not relevant. But when you get your books, make sure you understand, alright, well, these are the modules that I'm doing for the year. Make sure that you read up on them. In terms of studying, first thing is time management. Guys, make sure that you're studying effectively. Study using notes, study using, so powerful. Have you ever tried studying using voice notes?
It's really powerful.
Right? When you're recording
really
yourself.
Good.
Okay, so this is how kind of studying with voice notes looks like. When you study with a voice note, maybe you're studying a particular topic and you're reading about it. It's really, really fun to record your thoughts on it and record your opinion on it. Because the only way you can really solidify that you understand what you're reading is when you're able to regurgitate what you're reading in your own words. Even if you don't like your sound, some people don't like the sound of their own voice. But if you can rewrite what you're studying or what you're reading in your own words and in the way that you understand it and it makes sense, that's really good studying. Yeah. It means you're getting the most out. How many times did I spend at uni spending 2-3 hours studying and I left? I was like, what did I learn? Do you know what I mean? It's not a good use of your time. Yeah. So I would highly recommend you guys try to study, recording yourself, videoing yourself, talking about a particular topic, recording your own voice, talking about the particular topic in the way that you understand it, or even writing stuff down. Right? What do you think?
The other way to do it is to have a study partner with you. So, okay, you don't like the sound of your own voice, but if you both press record and you just talk about the lecture that you just went to, or you just talk about the essays question that you've been given or whatever, you just want to talk about it and just have an open discussion with the mic on a recording, bounce off each other, new things will come, it will make you a bit more passionate about what you've been learning, and then it will really stick, because when you're learning, part of the learning process is being able to teach it to somebody. You might not be teaching it to the study partner, but it's a form of, oh, did you see it like this or did you see it like that, and you both have a different insight, a different perspective to what you just learned, instead of just the tutor's
That's a really good point. That's a really good point. So my 2 points of that is making sure that you're managing your time to study and make sure you're spending enough time studying, and make sure you know what exactly you need to study, especially if you have exams and so on and so forth. So know exactly what you need to study. The most powerful point that Cherise gave you and I can give you is, guys, study differently. Right? Study using voice notes, videos, as long as you can regurgitate. That's the point we're trying to make. As long as you can regurgitate what you learn to somebody else or to yourself in a way that is easily understandable and easily digestible, you've won. Okay?
But at this point, you should know the best way that you like to learn. Like, if you're an audible learner, if you're a visual learner, if you're more like practical, you have to do things with your hands. So there's always some kind of way to do it. So just because your lectures might be, have to go there in person and you have to listen to the lecture and you have to take notes, that doesn't mean that's the only way that you can study, is what we're trying to say. Like, there are, if you can do videos, voice notes, there are different ways, and even if you combine all of them together, it will help you to continue from year to year, doing better and getting better and getting your first class, basically.
Next point is to leverage lecturers and your classmates. Okay, this is something I definitely wish I did at university. When I say leveraging lecturers, like, how many times do a lot of us, as soon as the lecture finishes, we just go? We just cut. Yeah. You do that. Yeah, everyone does, right? You're like, oh, lecture's done, woo, I'm out. But actually, how many of you actually go to your lecturers and say, hey, I didn't understand this. I need further clarity on this. Can you break it down for me? Can you spend maybe another 5 minutes breaking it down for me? Because what we just learned for the last hour went, How many of us actually do that, right?
Yeah. I used to just wait till the seminars, because obviously it's a smaller group and then we can talk about things. But as Michael said, like, why can't I just do it? If there and then I have a question, go and ask, like, why did I have
to how many times do you even write down, oh, I need to discuss a topic in the seminar? You don't write it down. You don't write it down. Like, that's my university experience, guys. My seminar was a much smaller group, but it never really meant that I leveraged my resources as much as I could. So that is another tip. Leverage your resources, leverage the knowledge that your lecturers have, right? And even when it comes to coursework, honestly, they can help you so much. They can give you direction, they can tell you how to work things. And one thing that I also wish I did at university was I wish I challenged my lecturers more.
Ooh.
I wish I challenged them on their point of views. I wish I challenged them on the things that they were trying to lecture me on. Not from a point of disagreement to disagree with them, but more from a point of critical thinking. I think it's a really, really important skill to have, especially as a lot of you who want to go into the corporate world, is to be able to critically think, is to be able to look at something and say, you know, there's a better way. There's a better way. Why? It's kind of that intellectual curiosity I've spoken about in my lives when it comes to achieving success and achieving career advancements and so on and so forth. Intellectual curiosity means that you're someone you like to question things and try to understand why. So leverage that. Next point on to leveraging your classmates.
Oh wait, can we go back to leveraging your...
Leveraging your lecturers.
And your personal tutors as well. Even if you don't want to do it like face to face, you have their email. There was something well, just before I was leaving, I was able to get into a closer relationship with my personal tutor, and something I didn't realise I'd be able to do, but you know, they're there. They can help you, even though my personal tutor wasn't in the School of English or the Centre of American Studies, but you know, they still understood the world of uni, they still understood what I needed to do, and so they were going to be there to listen, so why don't I use them? Do you know what I mean? So you should use them. Perfect,
thank you. And then the next point I wanted to make was leveraging your classmates. Guys, trust me, you want to do presentations at uni, you're going to be giving group work at uni. Don't just think, oh, who's the smartest person in the room? No, think about the people that are curious to learn. It's not always about, oh, I want to be grouped with the smartest person. Like, you can be smart book-wise, but you can be smart in terms of curiosity wise. Like, you're always trying to find a better way of doing things. That's real intelligence in the corporate world anyway. It's not about books. Real intelligence is someone that can look at things and question it and find a better solution, right? So if you can find people like that, we're happy to jump in a group work with you, do a presentation with you, but they challenge themselves to think critically. Like, they challenge themselves to think differently about a perspective. You know, these are the kind of people that you really, really want to be with, and I wish I spent more time looking for this kind of people. People that, you know, are not just, yes, I understand, but hold on, why? Why this way? I understand, but why this way? Wasn't there a better way, kind of thing? Yeah. So these are the kind of people that are going to help you to get those top grades in your presentation.
Yeah. Also, those that are creative as well. The presentations that I did the best in, we presented it in a creative way, or we used Prezi instead of PowerPoint presentation. Like simple ways that you can stand out and just get extra marks just by being creative, or just by, as Michael said, being curious and looking around the topic, and instead of just focusing on, oh, this is the question in black and white, so let's just answer the question in black and white. Sometimes it's like, okay, but this is the origin of it, and this is what we found, and this is on research and all of this. It all ties together. Obviously, you don't want to go on a tangent, but as long as it ties together, you are going to be marked up for it, and so why not do it?
And the next point is how to think about your coursework, essays, and exams. So I'm going to start with coursework first. And I was quite good at coursework. But as I said, you know, it's been 5 years now, and it's kind of, I'm coming from an angle of how would I have done things differently. And I think that I would have loved in my coursework to be a lot more critical of my own points. Right? So a lot of you, like, when you're writing based on what a researcher is saying or what an academic is saying, or you're writing based on academia, and then you're arguing that point, and you've given your perspective. But what's really interesting, and trust me guys, what's going to give you the top marks is when you're arguing against your own point. When you said, this is my perspective, but also this is another perspective. These are the two different ways of looking at it.
Yeah, so you start with your intro as this is the topic in question.
Like your abstract,
then this is my opinion on it. And then you'll talk about, you know, you present your case within the essay, and then you're like, oh, but then again, this and that, and you contradict yourself, and then you come back to it, and then you have a nice conclusion at the end.
It's so interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting to read. It's really interesting to follow your thought process, and you know, that's something that whoever's marking it
will appreciate.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're always talking from two different perspectives, it's much more interesting than when you're talking from one perspective, which is, you know, although I did okay in my coursework, but I feel like that's something that maybe would have gotten me closer to, you know, the grade that I wanted, the classification that I wanted. If my courseworks were a lot more structured around critical thinking, were more structured around, you know, two perspectives, or even three perspectives, it's so exciting to read. It's like, this person is not single viewed, if you get what I mean. And that's what I'm trying to say. Don't go to uni, write your papers, write your essay in a single view way. You know, always consider different perspective, even if it's two, even if it's three. If you're someone that, you know, you're really interested in what academia is saying, you know, this academic said this, but also actually this academic said this, and there's kind of a conflict there, and they're just learning how to weigh up that kind of argument in a very curious way, and trying to understand, well, you know, I think you're saying, I think as a writer, I say, I think this person is saying this because of this, but also I think this person is saying this because of this. I think they're both valid points. However, my point of view is blah, 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 blah. Like, if you write all your essays like this, even your exam papers where, you know, you have to write quite a lot, it's going to be so interesting.
Yeah, like, I used to feel like, oh, if I disprove myself, or if I don't stick to the question that I've said, or, you know, the point of view that I had, then I'm looking like I don't know what I'm talking about, or it looks messy, or like my chain of thought looks a bit wild. But no, it doesn't mean any of that, and it's actually really a good thing. And you know, I used to also think about like my word count and like my referencing, silly things that didn't matter, and at the end of the day, that's what was my downfall. So like, really think about the essay itself, like what you're bringing is going to be interesting. Like, always think about it's interesting, and that's what your degree is all about. It's all about further education. It's all about higher thinking, like
empowering yourself basically to become more intelligent. And by the way, guys, intelligence doesn't mean that you know everything in the world. Being an intelligent person is just someone that inquires. That's what intelligence means in the corporate world anyway. That's what we call smart people. You know, people that, you know, are always ask, I've said it so many times in this video, are always asking why, are always seeking to understand, not to interrogate, but to get context, right?
Yes.
That's the difference. Yeah. So bear that in mind when you're writing your essays. Those of you that will go to uni or have been uni for a long time, there's a propensity to miss lectures, right? Simply because I think a lot of people feel like, you know, I can miss the lecture because I can read it later and so on and so forth.
I don't need it.
I don't need it because it's online. I want you guys to start thinking differently about this, in the sense that, yes, you might not be able to go to every lecture, but try to go to all of them. But I also say, like, when you go to your lecture, seek to add value. Right? That's one of the things that's going to help you stand out and draw attention to yourself and make yourself the person that everybody wants to work with, everybody wants to learn from, everyone wants to partner with, because you're always coming to the lecture to add value. You're not coming just to take notes down. You're not a note taker. You're not a minute secretary. Guys, you are there to question. You are there to inquire. So when you're learning something new, try to seek to understand all the time. Like, you might even come across as that annoying person that's always asking questions, but learn to ask questions. Learn to say, I don't understand this because there's this way, there's this way, there's this way, but why this way? Do you get what I mean? Like, always seek to question, always seek to understand. Believe me, guys, what we're telling you is going to transform your university career. It's going to make education so much more interesting, because, you know, a lot of people have come to me and said, you know, I'm not sure I picked the right course, I'm not sure if I'm, you know, doing something that I enjoy. Believe me, whatever you're currently doing, you can enjoy it when you start looking at it from different perspectives.
Yes, very true. When you go into, as Michael said, you go into the lectures and you show up, it's like, you've been, remember that you're paying for this, you know, remember that 40 it's a lot, so you want to take as much from it as you can. Like, the lecturer is showing up to give their lecture. Maybe, okay, yes, they're just going to talk from their slides, and that's one thing that me and like most of my flatmates and stuff used to say, oh, you know, they're just going to read from the slides anyway, so I might as well just, they're not going to give more than just what is on the slide. But, you know, some lectures are like that, and, you know, it is a bit jarring, but you show up anyways. It helps develop other skills, is what I'm saying. They're not just, they're just going to talk at me. No, you're going to be creating discipline in your life, becoming someone that shows up and commits to things. You're going to be becoming somebody that listens. You're going to learn how to listen and filter what is being said and what you need. And you're going to exercise these skills that you're going to need in the future. So I was going to say real world, but it's real world. In the future, so just show up anyways.
Be present, basically, guys, is what Shirish is trying to say. Show up and be present, okay? It's really super important. I make the most of your money. I think this is probably my final point in this. Is I remember when I was at university, from lecture to lecture, there was usually this space. There were usually spaces between lectures and between seminars. Like, sometimes I would have maybe the 3-4 hour gap, right? Use that time wisely. Guys, imagine every time you wake up, or even if you have a 9-year lecture, imagine it's a working day, right? It's not a day, I'm going to go to a lecture for 9 to 10 and then I'm just going to do whatever I want. You don't do that in the workplace. Try to replicate your university schedule with how your working schedule will be when you do get a job. Right? If your lecture's from 9 to 10, say, okay, and the next one's at 4 o'clock, say, okay, between 10 and 4, I need to do something super productive here. So maybe you go to the library for an hour, a couple of hours, and you're super specific about what you're going to study. Like, start learning to plan your week. You know where your lectures are. Start planning around that. Start adding learning blocks around that. Also, add time to socialize with people.
Yeah, I was just about to say, when you're in those times, it might not be related to your course, but it might be related to the society that you joined. That is still part of your working day, basically. That's still part of your university
experience.
Yeah, so that's still tied to your university, your educational life. So do something related to the societies that you're joining. So yeah, you were part of the.
I was part of loads of. I was part of a debate society. I was part of a football society, and yeah, I kind of got involved in that. But again, I'm really trying to educate them on things that, now that I look back at my university experience, things that I should have done. You know, when I was at university, I didn't make use of my time. I didn't make use of the time blocks I had between one lecture to another. I would maybe go home, watch some TV. I didn't think about it like a working day. I didn't think, okay, I'm going to start my lectures at 9 and everything's going to come to an end at 6. I didn't think of making this white space as productive as possible. And that's why you guys that are going to uni, I'm teaching you, you know, how you're going to get the most out of it, right? How you're going to get your best grade.
Get a head start on your
Get a head start on everyone,
on your like, don't be just reaching the deadlines. Like, in those in between times, you can start writing up a little, like,
oh my god, Sharice just said something so important. She reminded me, please do not start doing your essays and coursework 1 week before. Don't do that, or 3 days before, or the night before. You are shooting yourself in the foot.
You want that first.
And you're also showing to yourself, believe it or not, that you are completely irresponsible. Because if you get a deadline in the real world, as Sharice says, if you get a deadline, you don't start doing it a day before. You start it weeks before. You start it when it's given to you, right? The deadline is an ending point. It's not for you to challenge yourself. Say, oh, my deadline's Friday. I'm going to challenge myself, see if I can do it.
Under pressure,
I want better. Nonsense. This is nonsense. Babe, can you believe some people actually say I work better under pressure, and that's why I'm going to start my coursework 2 days before? That is nonsense, because when you're under pressure, you don't think clearly. When you're under stress, you don't think clearly. Just because you work faster under pressure, faster doesn't mean smarter.
As we were talking in the first university video, we were talking about mental health and stuff. These all relate. You feel like, oh, you're going to get away with it, or like it's not going to have any effect on you. You might even think that when you were doing college work or whatever, and you were used to doing it really last minute, and then you got good grades, or you're like,
it's not the same with uni.
It's not the same. And even if you do, like, you wing it and you get some kind of good, out of nowhere, out of the mercy of God or something, and then you get a good grade, doesn't mean that it's not gonna have any kind of effect on your physical body, on your mental health. Like, don't do that. Really, like, it's not
absolutely
good.
So guys, we're gonna end it there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was valuable to you. Please give us a like, give us a comment and a share if you thought this was super valuable to you. Share this to all your friends that are, you know, that really are ending their university career, their final year, or maybe if you're starting, right? Help them out. All right, take care guys, love you all, bye bye.